And we are live! Hello, everybody! It's been a month since we were last here. New faces, old faces, but we're back. And this time, we're going to be discussing The Spanish, Love Deception by Eleanor Armas. So I will go around and we will all introduce ourselves. Obviously, you're on my channel, so you should know who I am. Katie from Kitkatscanread.
I'd be worried.
So let's move this way.
Sorry. Real quick. Hi, I'm Sunny, and I did YouTube for a while. I don't do it anymore, but I still like to read, and so Katie is a great friend of mine, and I can join even though I don't do booktube anymore, which I'm extremely thankful for. And yeah, I like the book.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
We'll get on to that in a second.
Just jumping ahead a bit.
Yeah. All right, Victoria.
Hi, I'm Vic. I don't do booktube or any kind of YouTube, but yeah, I'm here for some reason. I wrote the book, so
I like to read.
This is going to be funny.
Sam?
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm from Yarn Reader, and this is the third or fourth book that we've done so far. I've been pretty much on all of the lives, so.
Hi, I'm Hope. You may recognize me here. I'm on Katie's channel a lot. And yeah, I do booktube at It's Hope Books, and yeah, I'm always awful with introductions.
Well, all of people's channels, Twitters, whatever, it's all down below in the description, so you can check it out. And they're all in the description of all of my videos, so everyone's there if you want to follow. Does anybody want to tell everyone what the book is about? Is anyone feeling like, yeah, I can give the synopsis of this off the bat? Nobody likes to do that. Whenever it's book haul videos or whatever, and you're like, yeah, I got this book.
I could technically do it.
I would just, if I had the back of the book, I would just read the back of the book.
I think I finished last of all of us, so I think I should be able to do it.
Go ahead. Go, Sunny, go.
Let's just hope I remember the names. That's the biggest issue.
I got the synopsis. I will help you if you.
Yeah, I've got it here. Unless you'd rather me read it, then that's up to you.
First off, we have a hi in the comments. Hi.
Yes. We have a listener. Hello.
Okay. I have the description here, so it's okay. So it's about Catalina, who most times is just called Lena, and she is a Spanish woman living in America, working in a company that kind of does projects for other companies. I think that's the way I understood it. And she has her own team, and she is invited to her sister's wedding, and she doesn't have a date, but she promises her parents that she's going to bring someone, and she doesn't have anyone. And then one of her co-workers, who she actually doesn't really like, offers to come and go to the wedding with them. I think that's the best I can do. I don't want to.
That's the most basic description, but it basically summarizes the book.
That, and especially with this book, I think that's the best way to go into the book. I think if I tell any more, then because it's not fantasy. With fantasy, you can say much more, but especially with contemporary, there's not much you can say. Otherwise, it's people know the whole book. And I feel like that's the best way to know stuff, but still go into it. So
it is a romance book, so you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
But maybe
in the end, they're gonna end up together.
So
yeah.
I mean, they're on the cover, so
exactly.
That too.
All we have to know, it's fake dating.
Office
and
woman.
other tropes. I don't want to say them because I don't want to spoil it.
I don't think
by the end of this live, we'll end up just saying screw it and spoiling everything.
Yeah. But let's try not to spoil stuff.
Yeah.
Spoil. We can do a spoiler section.
Yeah.
It is a book club discussion, so you have been warned ahead of time. So
And also, I'm just here for the cats, by the way.
I feel like the main tropes aren't a spoiler. They're just like, I feel like in every of the like if you watch a video about those type of like books with blank the trope, and you see the book there. If it's
Yeah.
like
But like I
So-
feel like something like fake dating wouldn't really be a spoiler, but like if I say
No.
one bad trope, that kind of is a bit more spoilery depending on where it happens.
Yeah, but I'm talking more about the big ones like office romance. It's kind of like office romance, enemies to
those
lovers, and fake dating. Those are the main ones. Like
yeah,
the
those are definitely
other ones are like
in my
smaller.
opinion. But like something like but I think like even enemies to lovers would be kind of spoiling. And stuff like one bad trope and stuff for me is a bit more spoilery than saying it's an office romance, which is kind of just a category where the book fits into.
Yeah.
It's not really a
Yeah.
trope.
Just here for the cats.
I read that on.
I'm never gonna read it, so spoilers are fine.
save your money.
Joe.
Just save your money.
So, what format did you guys read it in? I listened to the audiobook / physically read it.
I solely listened to the audiobook.
Only
And,
audiobook in less than like 24 hours.
I read it physically.
I read it audiobook and ebook.
Nice. What about you, Joe? How did you read it? Now we go on to our ratings. So, what did we all rate it, if we can remember? For me, I gave it 5.
I gave it 3.5. I think I gave
I gave it like 4 stars, maybe 4.5, but I think it's closer to 4.
It had a low 3 stars. Like a low 3 stars.
3.5. That's what I gave it.
I gave it 4.
Nice. Different range of ratings. So, character-wise, who was your most favourite character? Anyone?
Aaron.
The
I mean,
baked
I
goods.
like Aaron.
I loved Aaron so much.
But I
Maybe
also
you
do
go in
like
order
her friend
again?
Rosie, so
Yeah.
I'm intrigued about Rosie.
I'm gonna have to say the mentions of all the baked goods made me want to cook you very much.
Yeah. I would also say Aaron and Rosie, definitely.
I feel like mainly Lena for me, and Aaron, of course, but yeah, both the main characters. There wasn't like, I don't know. Oh, and I think the noisy cousin. I don't know her name.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. Joe also listened to audiobook and physical at the same time. Joe rated it 4.5, and favourite character was Aaron. What about least favourite?
For me, actually, Catalina.
Probably that Gerald
Yeah.
dude.
For me,
Well,
actually,
yeah. Yeah, Gerald, but like characters that actually matter.
but I mean, he's out of the picture. We don't care about him. He goes into the trash.
He got fired.
He made me angry. He was the character that made me angry.
He can join Ember Turd.
Yes. Yes.
For me, it's actually Catalina. I didn't. I felt like the way she was extremely oblivious was like, oh my gosh, just open your eyes, please. And I didn't like the way she talked to Aaron, like calling him heartless and calling him a robot and stuff, is what I really didn't like. And also, I feel like what this book is missing is trigger warning. I feel like it definitely does need a trigger warning for eating disorder, and there's a lot of food mentionings, which I kind of found. I mean, it's not a big part of the book, but it still happens. So I feel like we definitely should have had a trigger warning for, especially eating disorder. And like, there's a lot of mentioning of food. Like
Yeah,
a lot
because just Catalina just doesn't want to eat so that she can lose a dress size for the wedding.
But also, even there's still a lot of mentions of food. Like, she doesn't want to eat, but then there's, like, talking about donuts and bagels and cookies.
I probably gained a good 20 pounds from just reading this book because I was snacking while I was reading this one.
It made you hungry.
Now I want to go to Spain to try all that stuff they talked about. And I already went to Spain. But yeah, I didn't like the way Catalina went into situations. I understand that she's a character that's very open and happy-go-lucky, and even at work is much more like fun and outgoing compared to like Aaron, who's a bit more very work-focused when he's in that situation. He's more of a very ambitious person. So in work, he solely wants to think about work. And so for her, calling him a robot is like, but at the same time calling him Clark Kent, meaning you think he is hot, but also not hot, because you said Clark Kent isn't actually a compliment.
It's a backhanded compliment.
For me, it's like, yeah, call me Clark Kent. I'm not actually a guy, but call me Clark Kent. I'll take it.
Did they have churros? I think churros was mentioned in the book, actually.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
because it's their Spanish donut sort of thing.
Yeah, and they also had fish tacos, because I never had fish tacos, so now I want to try fish tacos.
I just want tacos.
Same.
I have yet to have lunch, so I want tacos now.
Is that all your thoughts on any characters, or?
Let's
Yeah,
just
I
say
pretty much
wanna
just-
beat Catalina with a bat.
I also didn't like Daniel, but I think that one is kind of a given considering how he went into the situation, like into the past situation with Catalina. How he handled that situation wasn't good. I mean, like, if he hadn't had handled that situation the way he had, he wouldn't be in the situation in the book. But still, I didn't like the way he also came to her afterwards and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like for the bad guys in the...
They sound
I feel like I just blacked out the bad guys. Like Daniel and the misogynistic characters, I just... Yeah, just not paying attention to them and paying attention to the main couple.
Quite a lot of people did say that Catalina is quite selfish, like the way she comes across.
Yeah.
She is, and
like
her cousin irritated the snot out of me. If I had a cousin like that, I would not be talking to her ever, and I'll be close to punching her cousin in the face in real life. So
I'm the opposite. I feel like she was rude towards her cousin. Like, I'm close to my cousin, so I was quite shocked to see someone like her. Oh my god, I want to strangle my cousin. Like, if you're being nice to them, don't. Just be, I don't know. It's just annoying me a little bit. But,
I mean, it's quite possible to have situations where, I mean, like, even with siblings and stuff, sometimes I feel like strangling my sister. But, like, I would say it more in a joking way, and if something were to happen to her, I would kill everyone around her that's, like, at fault for her being hurt. And, like, nobody's taking that serious if I ever say that, so that's funny. They're like, yeah, if you would hurt anyone.
for me, it would be like more younger me wouldn't really say or do anything and just remove myself from the situations.
Yeah.
Now, 27-year-old me just doesn't give a fuck and will tell you to leave me the fuck alone.
She sounds quite young, actually. I'm not quite sure how young Catalina is supposed to be, but she sounds...
I think she's mid-20s.
She's 20. I think it said that she's 28 or almost 28.
She sounds very naive.
So yeah, she's like my age. So I'm to the point with a lot of my family members be like, if I don't talk to you on a daily basis, keep your nose out of my business.
But in general, she sounds very naive. Not just there, but also like when in the work they were like, yeah, can you do the whole party thing? And she's like, why should I do it? And she didn't understand why it was her that was picked.
Yeah, like she should have stood her ground and just said, like, look, I don't want to do this. Don't make me.
it's not even that. She didn't even understand why it was her that was being picked. She was like, why me? Why me?
It's like, because
it took an hour to realize it was her because she's the only woman that has
exactly.
a team.
They picked her because women are good at planning things.
Yeah. And for her to take that
she knew that.
No.
She knew that and she confronted them. But
she later on, but at the beginning she was like, wait, why me? I'm not good at this. Why me? I'm not good at this. And I was driving.
Yeah, and then she confronted them. It was like one scene. She confronted them.
Confront them. Like, she confronted them about them picking her, but I think more of the fact that they were like, oh, she has the least amount of work. She can stay late.
Yeah, her confronting was more after the jerk face of one of the co-workers started to talk. That's when she started confronting, not before.
I think she kind of like, judging by rereading the passage again, he kind of knew it but didn't want to speak it. Like they said, it's important to have someone like you representing the company. And then she said, I should ask what someone like me was supposed to mean, but I didn't think I wanted to hear the answer. So she kind of could gather.
She kind of knows that it's about the fact that she's like a woman, but also she didn't want to hear that because she didn't want.
It's not just the fact that it's because of her being a woman. It's because of her being a diverse woman.
Yeah, I think it's not just because she's a woman, but also because she's Spanish, and Spanish are supposed to know fiestas and stuff. So I think if she wouldn't have a team, I think it would be the other Spanish guy I think it was a Latino also there, because they were talking about Latin food. And I think if she wouldn't have been there, it wouldn't have been a white guy that would have been picked. It would have been the Latin guy that would have been picked to do the party. So I think it wasn't just her being the only woman, it was also her being a Latina or a Spanish person. Because I'm not sure if also for Spanish it's Latina or if it's only Latin American.
Ha! The Rosie's here.
Hi, Rosie.
Secretly, she wasn't Spanish. She just yes, of course. So what did you guys think of the general storyline plot?
I liked it. I like the pacing was nice.
The pacing was interesting. It wasn't quite what I expected.
It was very slow at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And the pacing wasn't what I expected. I kind of expected them to go quite quickly to the wedding and spend more time at the wedding, considering it's a big part of the story is her having to go to the wedding, but then mostly focus was her before the wedding.
For me, I thought it started very strange with the conversation and her pretending he's not there, and it was like
you're acting like you're 12.
Given away sort of thing, because literally the first page he's like, I'll go with you, and it's just like, what?
You're like, wait.
Book over.
Also, what I didn't like is she mentioned why she hated him because she listened on she actually accidentally listened to a conversation he had with someone about him not wanting to work with her or something along that. That never got resolved. We never actually know.
Technically, it did at the end of it. She brought it up to him at the end, saying that she heard the conversation. But he said that the reason why he didn't want to work with her is because of I guess he would be more distracted by her than anything because of how much he liked her or something like that.
That part.
That just kind of slipped your brain.
That's where I've had a lot of people say that it's more like dislike to love than actual hate to love.
She sees him as her enemy, but he actually also already sees her as his crush. So it's definitely one-sided, and it's not even enemy.
No, it's more of like she doesn't like him.
Yeah,
he likes her.
It's a reply as well, for sure. Yeah.
Because of a misunderstanding.
Rosie, I loved it. The plot was so refreshing. I've never read anything like it.
No, like to be honest, I like that in the beginning they went slow with her taking a while to decide and just take put her pride aside and decide to actually go with him, because I just finished another Office Romance Enemies to Lovers, and it was so much faster, and there wasn't that much chemistry happening, and I like how slow the Spanish Deception one is much more like natural, I feel like. And we actually see what their relationship is before they went into pretending and not developing feelings.
Yeah,
or
she's
at
literally
least
having none of
her
him.
realizing her feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I did like the pacing at the beginning. Her taking her while to actually accept his offer and not just go like, okay, yes, let's go together. But then the pacing afterwards kind of fell short. After when they go to the wedding, I felt like that was a very short moment of them going to the wedding and then suddenly being back. And then
It was really short wedding, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like because of the length of the book is like a couple pages from the beginning should have been added to the wedding portion to make the wedding a little bit more, because like Lena is constantly like, this wedding's gonna be big, it's gonna be huge, it's a huge thing, and then we're like, huh?
Yeah, and then when it happens, it's literally like brushed over.
It's like 2 chapters, it feels like.
And isn't the wedding like 3 days? Like that didn't feel like 3 days. That felt like 1 hour.
We only saw more of the first day and the bachelor party. And like I feel like they needed to put. I feel like they needed to put more on the party. The party in the building, that she was supposed to organize, and she got angry about it. But in the end, she was just like, "Well, Aaron wasn't at the party, so we're skipping over that. Like, where's the? It was a big thing. Why did we skip over that?"
True.
I like Rosie's comment
there. Just because they had a
And
fight.
also, when somebody says "Don't laugh at me," it makes you laugh.
We're gonna laugh.
I love that comment.
It's a huge
excited.
Yeah, we were able to look through like a window. That's how we were excited.
Yeah, all of the Spanish people were like, "No, you're not looking."
No. We were able to look in and just basically see Aaron and Catalina just doing whatever the fuck they're doing.
The thing is, I feel like we didn't even see the wedding. At least I didn't notice we see the wedding. We saw like the practice run and then the bachelor party, and that was it. That wasn't even the wedding.
No, and then don't forget Aaron and Catalina making out
very
off to the side.
And honestly, those smut scenes sounded like me in high school trying to write smut on Wattpad. I felt extremely uncomfortable about that.
I was listening to them. I rarely listen to like smut things, and I was literally like just laying in bed, just like, I feel awkward.
I feel like big smut.
Should I be here right now?
Yeah, like I feel like I'm interrupting something.
The big smart part I read on the bus. I listened to on the bus with headphones. I was like,
you're like, I really hope nobody can hear it.
I read those smut scenes on it live with Katie and Hope. So. While at work, by the way, and people kept interrupting me. I kept getting phone calls and people coming in and
interrupting your smut.
In that moment, sitting on the bus, I was kind of happy that I didn't actually
Hope was in bed. Oh yes, but this is great. Go on, talk to me. Going on from that, like with the writing of it, like I liked that there was like a lot of Spanish in there as well. It gave it a real Spanish feel.
Looking at how the author is Spanish, it definitely felt natural. Because sometimes it sounds extremely weird how they randomly throw words in, but this time it actually made sense the way.
Yeah, even though it wasn't like translated, like
you could understand what was kind of being said. Like, clearly she's mad.
Yeah,
or like annoyed.
And I had Spanish in school, so I kind of tried to translate it in my brain. It didn't always work out though.
Lena was translating them though.
Not
some
always.
of the things.
Not everyone.
When she was like angry and she said like angry Spanish, she didn't really like she kind of said something in Spanish and then she'd be like, "Damn him," or like
so you
know, like, probably because it was a curse word in Spanish.
Probably.
Like even when she talked to her mother on the phone, I think she says no sabes, and she doesn't translate that one, but I think it says I don't know.
There's a couple of times where she doesn't translate, but for most parts, when she's having conversation in Spanish, she's translating it. Like it makes sense for her to not translate her sisters on the phone with Aaron because she cannot hear what her sister is saying. We can only hear just a word, but I read a review where they said that they were annoyed that they were translating at all. And me as a person who doesn't know Spanish, I was like, I wouldn't know anything what's happening. So I liked that. Like it's I'd be more confused if it wasn't translated.
And the thing is, it wasn't just translated. I liked the way that how it was translated. It wasn't just her saying something and just right away thinking of, oh, that's that. What it means in English is this and this. No, it was in a conversation. Aaron asked her, what does it mean? And she translates it to him, which makes
because he was just sitting there like, I don't know what you're saying. I'd like a little insight.
Yeah. Which is funny because he ends up actually speaking Spanish.
Well, he learned basic Spanish for her family.
Yeah.
So that
but
he
that
can
was kind of
understand
so
a bit
funny.
more.
He was like asking her for just a single word, and then he ends up with Spain, being like, like speaking fluent Spanish. It's like, but you didn't know what Los Dios means. I don't trust you.
But he learned it. And that is honestly like that shows how much he wants to prove himself worthy to Catalina is learning the language that she's like is like her native language.
Yeah.
That her family speaks.
He
didn't have to do that, but he did.
I find it really unrealistic to learn that much Spanish in like a month's time. It took me 3 years of learning Spanish to be where I'm at now. So
he used all his free time.
Yeah, I mean,
he tried learning basic Spanish, like.
Well, it is a book, so.
He does seem like an ambitious guy that
smart,
wants
so it is a book and making him.
I like how everyone speaks at the same time. I feel like he's ambitious, so he knows what he wants, and he does like put all the work and all the money and all the time he has. Alexa, stop. He uses all this time to actually make it work, which I think is why it took him less time. And we don't know how smart, like how much of a smart person he is, and if he's maybe someone that learns languages quite fast.
I feel like it's hinted that because he's working so like he's an excellent worker. It's supposed to be like like learning a language would be easier for him, and like especially he is ambitious as you said, so it will be him wanting to
imagine this
make
like
a good.
I can imagine this him in the car listening to a Spanish learning course on his phone and stuff. Like we listen to audiobooks, and then in bed like having a book about Spanish, and just him not doing anything.
Just Duolingo.
Him like cooking dinner with like
like a Spanish telenovela or something.
Just Duolingo on the phone 5 minutes a day.
To be at that level with speaking Spanish, though, I would think that you would have to be at least like introduced at it like at a young age. Because when I first started like learning Spanish, not including like whenever I was learning words here and there from Dora the Explorer, it took me a good like few months just to get to the point where I can form a proper sentence.
I mean, I had it in high school. I was kind of decent with it, but it was a time where I was easier with languages. I noticed now that my language learning skills have deteriorated by a lot. Still not able to talk after 3 years of Bosnian. But also I had French at the same time, and I'm dyslexic, so I ended up speaking not French nor Spanish, but Spanish or French. I don't know how to say that, but like a mix of Spanish and French. My teachers didn't like that, but my teacher spoke both French and Spanish, so she understood what I meant to say. So yeah, talk Spanish to us.
One sentence I taught myself in high school was "Mi gato es muy guapo." My cat is very handsome.
It's something Spanish that everyone knows is mi casa es su casa. My house is your house.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, because I was trying to learn the basic Spanish because I was going to Benidorm, and I was trying to learn, like, their basic of, like, I would like 1 room for 2 people, please. I can't remember, like, the first beginning, but I know it was, like, una habitación por 2 personas, por favor, or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know any Spanish.
Yeah, I'm like, I could tell you probably like what
All of you
Dora
were like,
taught us.
What?
The
And
thing
Mi
even
is,
nombre es Samantha.
That's why I
Donde
like
es
the translations in the book, because I don't know Spanish. It was just confusing.
the thing about
No, I
Spanish,
like-
I love the name. I love the way in Spanish the name Isabel is pronounced. I love the Isabel. I love the way it is pronounced. I noticed it in Encanto, and I noticed in this book the way
Isabel,
I love it. I love it.
that was it. Quisiera una habitación
Yeah.
por 2 personas, por favor. Yeah, quisiera is the can I something like that. I can talk a little bit French. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Voulez-vous coucher
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi
ce soir?
There's the word missing. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Coucher. Stop talking about sleep.
I mean, I wouldn't really
so-
call that sleep. More like
Vusha kusha. So what was your favourite part of the book, if you had a favourite part? I can't really think of a favourite part myself.
I feel like the wedding and just when Alina faints and Aaron just takes care of her. And being like, no, you need to eat. You are not okay. And being more like, not harsh, but like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
It's more of a scene that sticks out. The breaking of the bed. That made me laugh out loud so much.
Yeah, that was
I love the scene where she works in her office and tries to plan the event, but she has no blooming idea what to do. And then he comes in and then offers her like a granola bar that he made himself.
Yeah, he's like, here's a granola bar. I'm pulling up a chair. Let's do this.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
"Eat this, I'm gonna do this."
But who's been on a bed before where it has broken underneath them? Because I have. In fact, 2 beds. One was a sofa bed years ago. Like literally just
What
kind
were
of
you
fell
doing
through.
to break the bed?
They were just sat there both randomly. It just went, and then like the other time was a previous like single bed, and like again just sat on it, and the slats just went, and it made such a big noise. Like it was the middle of the night.
Jordan
like,
took a flying leap onto our bed one time and broke one of the legs of the bed frame. So it was tilted at an angle for a while. I'm like, I'm not fixing that. You're fixing that.
My bed back home, the frame under, like the wooden frame under the mattress, is broken. So the bed is like, if you lay on one side, it just goes down.
My favorite part was the deception. I was just sat there, and then it just went, and it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. Cheeky bugger. Anyway, what's your least favorite part? This would be the good one.
I want to say about the favorite part is the football field when she pinched his ass.
Yes.
Yeah, that was just least favorite. The conversation with Daniel, I guess.
Just sitting, Rose.
Definitely when she talked to Daniel at the practice, I think it was at the practice dinner or something. Also, every scene douchebag co-worker was in, and I'm not going to remember his name, and I don't want to remember his name.
Gerald.
Every freaking time Catalina had a thought or said something where Aaron was considered a robot or something. Like when Rosie asked if Katarina had thought about the offer, and she's like, about him getting a heart transplant? Yeah, I thought about that one. It's like,
I actually like that part. Like a robot is not the worst insult, so it's just like, yeah, I guess she just sees him as code person, so robot makes sense, and he's always at work overtime, so it makes sense to be like a robot. But
He's
like,
voicing my opinion here. He's reading my
Are
mind.
you? I was gonna say, are you and Rosie secretly the same person?
I mean,
Yes.
the thing with the whole robot part is she might see him that way, but the way she describes him in the book and the way the reader sees him in the book, he is not a robot. So I don't know why she perceives him as a robot when she doesn't perceive him as a robot. At least doesn't describe him as a robot.
that's where she's oblivious.
She's naive. She's a naive little girl, and she's older than me.
Rosie, did you read the
She
book?
was just oblivious to her
No,
feelings.
she didn't.
Like,
So your
I don't think
opinion
she was
doesn't
naive.
count?
She's
That
just
much more,
voicing the
oblivious to
things
her
I've complained
feelings
about.
and just not believe. Like, I feel like she didn't want to believe that she had feelings for him.
Yeah,
Rosie,
I mean, like,
I feel
I
like you
do-
haven't read anything in a while, Rosie.
I mean,
I can't remember the last time you said you finished a book.
I do understand her not wanting to understand and accept her emotions towards Aaron, but still painting him as a robot is actually
That
maybe
was just in the
more.
beginning.
She paints herself as a robot, as in she doesn't want to accept her emotions when Aaron is actually very open about his emotions. You can
But that was
see
just in the beginning part. And it was,
from the very, very first sentence he says you can tell what his intentions are.
Yep.
Taking her to the wedding. And
it's a little bit unbelievable but
yeah.
it's a
The scene that I liked is the part where they talked about his ex-girlfriend or something, and she's like, are your standards that high? And I'm like, girl, he asked you, what do you think? You fit on those standards. Open those damn eyes.
Yeah, she was so close.
Sunny,
I was
sure
like
it's not
literally
just
sitting there
her.
yelling at times, like, can you not see that he is basically in love with you?
Yes.
Yeah, most of the time.
And then
it
when
was
she
annoying,
realizes it, it's like the flip of a switch. Like, no.
Yeah. I didn't like that switch. It was like,
She went from literally like one day being like, oh, like, was that just going to be like a one night stand in Spain, to a week later, I'm in love with you. Like, really?
yeah.
You hated him a month ago.
A scene that I did like is when the coworkers found out that she was in a relationship, and she blocked him out. I read on Goodreads that people didn't like the way she kind of dumped him and went on, but I was like, I have been bullied, and I always have again the fear of being bullied again, because me not realizing that my actions are what caused me to being bullied, and she knows what actions caused her getting into the situation where she didn't feel safe and comfortable. So I completely understand her in that moment blocking out and being like, no, I can't deal with this again. I did like how Aaron in this situation handled it differently to Daniel. That's what I really liked, the way the situation was handled by Aaron.
Yeah, I feel like the whole trauma with Daniel, I feel that like that was the reason why she was not wanting to believe her feelings, especially when she found out he was gonna be her boss, but in general.
I understand that, but for that, I feel like the whole Daniel part should have been more important throughout the whole book. I feel like the whole Daniel situation fell short, and that's why we didn't understand her not wanting to believe her feelings because of her traumatic experience with Daniel. I don't know. I do understand her wanting to break up things after everything was found out, because then we knew what happened. But still,
a PSA for everybody, just so you know, don't sleep with your professor. things will end badly.
There's a big
It never seems to work well.
There is a
Yeah.
big freaking difference between sleeping with your professor and sleeping with your boss.
I like the trope of I love office romance. That's what I mainly read in comics and stuff. So I like that part, but I don't work in an office environment, so it's just a world that is far away from me and won't happen. So I don't worry about that.
Yeah, but like there is still a difference between office romance and college romance.
Yeah.
Especially if the college romance is teacher meets student.
Yeah, the power balance there is much more different than in the office. I feel like because in the office you can distinguish it, but in college it's hard. She was young, especially like 19, 20.
That
Karen
and
agrees,
also
apparently.
we have to remember Aaron wasn't always her boss. She knew him as her co-worker.
Yeah.
And the only thing I had an issue was with Aaron getting the promotion because I was like, she worked there longer than him, and he's getting than her, and he's getting the promotion. That was my issue. I love that she didn't even care. I was like, why don't you care that he's getting a promotion, but got here after you? I'd be livid. I thought that was her issue when she was kind of struggling with him getting the promotion. I thought it was because she worked though more than him, for longer than him. But no,
it makes sense. But I like the trauma thing.
Yeah, I didn't dislike it. I just kind of feel like it fell short compared to everything that happened in the book.
Sunny, you sure it's not a 2-star for you?
No, it's a 3.5. That doesn't mean I dislike it. I feel like just some parts fell short for me. I wouldn't have done everything the way it was done, but there were some parts that I really loved. I loved the moment where he got her 4 fish tacos after she said she wanted 3. I love that part.
Rosie, stop pretending you've read the book.
I love that part though. Like she's like, I want 3 fish tacos, and then she gets some 4 after she just fainted. I love that part. Like that's a really good part.
Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh no, it won't leave me.
No, you didn't, Rosie. You didn't read it. Stop
Rosie, if you had read the book, you wouldn't have said that Daniel maybe fell short. Daniel didn't fall short. Daniel fucked up.
You're reminding you, are you?
Rosie, get out of my head. I'm going to start charging rent here.
About Daniel, I feel like... Sorry.
That explains why my head hurts so much is because of Rosie's in it.
Knew it.
She's using telekinesis power for all the way from the Netherlands.
Through the computer.
I feel like with Daniel, there was a moment that the readers can tell he was jealous, but just him, like it was brushed off. There was nothing happening. Like why? Like he could have confronted.
Oh, Rosie, it had to be you, didn't it? So, would any of you ever reread this? Whether it's like, next year, a few years?
Nope.
I don't think I would.
I'm giving my book to my mom, so nope.
To be honest, even though I did like the book, I don't think I would read it. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'd get it as an ebook and read it, but I don't think I'd have the physical copy and keep it.
I don't think I will reread it either. I did like it. It was enjoyable to some extent. Let's go with that because there's always scenes you don't like and scenes you do like. But yeah, if I would reread it, I would give it 5 stars. That's how my star rating works. So no.
I wouldn't reread it because, like, while like I did enjoy like the story, the only reason I would ever reread it is because of Aaron, because he's my favorite character. But at the same time, I'm also I don't want to go through Catalina's bullshit again.
See, that's why we need a book from his perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Just literally the whole story from his point of view.
Yes, from the whole I will to one
Because
year
it would
after.
literally just be like 400 pages of him pining.
Yes.
Just him, just like, oh, she's so wonderful. I don't know why she hates me.
And I do want to know also, like, how he found her, how he felt finding her.
I was about to say, it's her eyebrow wiggle.
Would any of you ever buy it for somebody else, like, or lend it to somebody else?
I'm going to be giving
I didn't
my
answer about the
teen
rereading
soap
part.
copy to my mother, so yes.
I would read it again and would buy it again because, like, the whole book, I was reading it and it just got me hyped up. Just about my cousin's wedding. She's getting married in August, and I'm just getting hyped while Lena is talking about the wedding. Is just the romance and just
Like
giving
wedding
me
fever.
a sweet feeling, and I'm enjoying it. And now I'm thinking maybe it's a 5-star, not a 4-star. But yeah, I feel like someone else who likes books like me and just reads it for the enjoyment and doesn't like really get into analyzing them, I would give it to them. Maybe like my mom doesn't like romance, but like if she did, I feel like this will, and if it was translated, I would buy it for her.
Yeah, my friend more reads fantasy, so I couldn't really give it because she would not like it.
Yeah, like I would recommend it to somebody if somebody was like, "Hey, I want a book that's like an office romance or like fake dating." I'd be like, "Hey, this one you might like it."
The unhoneymooners, they all don't they get poisoned apart from the two that don't like each other. Do you really want to promote that book?
I don't think my cousin likes romance books.
Maybe
give her this book, not the.
Would any of you read other books by the author?
Yeah, I probably will read the whatever it's called, the book about Rosie. I'll probably read
the
that
American
at some point.
Experiment or something stupid like that. I can't actually remember.
I can't imagine myself reading the Rosie story, kind of seeing if maybe it was just Catalina that she wrote extremely unnecessarily stupid and annoying. I would be interested if Rosie's POV would make Rosie also an unlikable character, or if it was solely Catalina that was unlikable.
Yeah,
the book is the American roommate experiment.
Yeah. If Rosie comes across like how good how she came across in the Spanish dubbed section, I think I will like.
Yeah, that's why I want to try it and see if maybe it was just Catalina being described as an unlikable character. In my point of view, not saying she's a general unlikable character. In my perspective, she was an unlikable character. And kind of would be interested if, in general, she prefers to describe her characters like that, or if it's just Catalina in that instance.
Yeah, because then it goes on to the next
another
of like. It's going to come out. It's like a companion, so it's Rosie, the friend,
September.
The protagonist.
Comes out in September, I believe.
Okay,
yeah,
I will read the
world
story,
of.
to be honest.
But I don't know. I'm kind of more excited to read Rosie's book to see what it's like because she seemed really cool. Like she seemed really.
And then we need the American Deception from his point of view. Needs the name American Deception.
Like I mean, it's like the Spanish Love Deception was like Eleanor's first book, wasn't it? So like, hopefully, she sees all of the
but the thing is, maybe
and improves. I don't know.
Meant to be that way of a character. If Rosie is not that kind of, and is not, if I like Rosie in the book, then it was just her making Catalina an unlikable character, which then I will like. But if Rosie is the same way, then I will just like love Deception even.
Don't use my
Oh my
name.
God, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. That Katarina is the narrator. That's the author. I'm a fucking idiot. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Because he thought that was who narrated the book.
Yeah. Just by the like. Wait. Let me show you.
Because we talked about the narrator. Did you think it was the narrator?
Yeah. No, I looked here. Like first is the author, then is the narrator, and I got confused that the first one is the narrator, then is the author. So I was looking at the Scarlet Hayes, which is the narrator of this book.
Yeah, then we had
but
the narrator.
Yeah.
okay, so
Then we
it's
had
the
the
same
same-
narrator.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I don't know about the Erin part. I heard it as Aaron. I like the narrator. But yeah, I liked Lina, so even if Rosie was written unlikable, I would read it because I liked how Catalina was written just a little bit too oblivious, but that's beside the point. I liked the book. It was just enjoyable.
Yeah, it'd be interesting how Catalina comes across in like Rosie's book, if she's there like a little bit, or like you know, and if she's
Probably
a different kind
not
of
as
character, like if
oblivious.
she's, you know, a better character sort of thing.
Yeah. It would be. It's very interesting to see how best friends just see each other. Like now we see how Catalina sees Rosie, and we see how in our eyes how Catalina sees herself. It would be very interesting.
And we'll see how what Rosie thinks of Catalina sometimes as well, like, which is
maybe she's also
Rosie for me, Rosie was just a little bit too like she wasn't a big part of the book. Like I just wasn't my favorite character. So
I mean,
like maybe I will like it more in her book, but.
Yeah, considering most of the plot took part outside of the wedding, it would have been kind of cool to see more of her. I know it's not about her. I know it's about her, like Catalina and Aaron, but still, kind of felt like we could see more of her because at the moment she just feels like a side character for the main character to do something, not like her own character.
Yeah, and like especially as they're co-workers, so they
they'd see each other every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't. I can't expect not expect is the wrong word, but if my friend started eating less for a wedding, I think I would notice. Like that's the thing that Rosie didn't notice her friend eating less and less and focusing on salad. If she normally isn't a salad person, I'd be worried. If my friend could only eat,
Darren said that she always had snacks with her, so why didn't Rosie notice?
Yeah,
maybe she noticed, but I don't know. We didn't see it on page.
Maybe
they'll get touched more.
Oblivious.
Yeah.
Maybe she's just like Catalina, and that's why they get along so much.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. If my friend normally eats like steak and fries and burgers and tacos
and snacks a lot
and stuff, and suddenly only eats salad, I'd be worried.
Yeah, like one day having a salad, I'd be like, okay, maybe you're trying something new. But like a week, I'd be like,
yeah, and only
what's wrong?
But like maybe Rosie's like, for example, let's compare it to Heartstopper, and like Charlie had to bring it around to Heartstopper, but like obviously Charlie with the eating disorder, and the family don't really know about it, and yet they're close in their family.
Yeah, but one is a friend who is always around her, like working together. They're together on their lunch break. They usually go to a cafe or like some place around the corner, at the corner, or what was the name, where they grab stuff together. It's not like family. Charlie is like there for dinner and stuff. It's not like nonstop, which is what throws in, you know.
Maybe she's just oblivious. Who knows?
Thanks for the spoilers.
Sorry.
I'm only on top 2.
That's spoilers. Like, it literally he says in like the first season, like,
Which
he
I
constantly
also
says-
Which is the
haven't
show that she hasn't watched.
Yeah, but like the show, he doesn't tweet anything.
Let's just go back to the book.
Well, trigger warning about the eating disorder.
Me
Then
wanting
it's
to get
serious
away
in
from
Heartstopper.
Heartstopper. That is never something that's happened before, but I'm wanting to save Sunny the spoilers.
It's not a spoiler.
Yeah, it is,
It's
Katie.
a trigger warning that everybody
It's
knows
a
about.
spoiler.
Okay, I
It's
know
not a
that there is a
spoiler.
trigger warning coming
It's
later on, but that's something like just
It's a
knowing about the
spoiler
trigger
based on
warning
what
is-
we were discussing.
It's
I
not a
don't-
spoiler. I wouldn't have mentioned it if it was a spoiler.
I know there is a trigger warning for eating disorder, but that's all I want to know. I don't want to know anything else except for that
Well,
there
yeah,
is.
it's about the. We didn't say anything spoiler, just that he has
No,
eating
no.
disorder.
But the thing is, now I know who has it.
Exactly.
Well,
But
I
it's
feel like
obvious. It's obvious. Even before I read the third and fourth book, I knew who it was. So
Let's just move away from the topic so we stop arguing.
Hope
I
is
feel like
trying
just
to
a character design from an artistic standpoint, like when you're designing a character who has eating disorder, he would be usually skinnier than the buff
not always the case
sporty
though.
guy.
That the thing is, that's not always the case. Someone who is
You're
more
going on a side
let's
rant.
call it voluptuous can also end up in a
Yeah, I
eating
know,
disorder
but
if they're trying to
it's
lose
usually
weight.
how character design works because it's easier to show it than otherwise.
No. A fat person can also have an eating disorder, just the other way around.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not saying that. It's just the shapes. It's easier to show it, and she decided to do it with Charlie. Whatever.
okay,
Moving
other-
on.
Is it a bad time to go get food now?
is there any other comments that anyone wants to say about the book?
I wanted to ask, how do you like the ending? Because I felt like it was cute and actually like that the family was coming there and the thing with Aaron's father, and I felt like it was a cute moment and just getting both families together. And I'm guessing he was proposing on that there then, or should I don't? Yeah, I feel like I like that.
Yeah, I did like the ending. I also like that Rosie got the promotion. But like my question was like, Aaron also got the promotion, so who's doing Aaron's team? Because Rosie is taking Douchebag's team. I like how I'm calling it Douchebag.
Oh, yeah.
But who's Aaron's team?
Oh, I
Like,
guess it wasn't an important character about Aaron's team.
I know that it's not important, but my brain is stuck in that situation, being like when they said that Rosie is doing something, or that Rosie is supposed to show Catalina what they were talking about. I was like, okay, maybe Rosie took Aaron's team, but then it's like, no, she took Douchebag's team. And I was like, well, who has Aaron's team, or is Aaron still doing the team? Like, I don't know.
I think Catalina was supposed to be the one that it would find the people to fill in the spots of the like empty team members, or I don't know.
Yeah, they just asked if it was able for one of her team to go over to the other team because Rosie has left. But that's like, but then her team is one missing. How is it okay for her team to be one missing, but not for his team to be one
It
missing?
was temporary for Rosie, the person who would stay in Rosie's place. It was temporary while they hire another person.
I just
for Aaron, I don't know.
Yeah, it was for me. I was so focused on that moment being like, who is Aaron's team?
And then there was me just like not
Aaron
caring about that.
Yeah, I didn't think
Maybe
about it too much because I
Aaron
didn't
was
care.
Maybe because Aaron was just promoted to work over them, maybe he took care of his team too.
Yeah,
He's also a workaholic, so he would do more work than necessary.
he would probably
Yeah.
do 2 teams at once if he could. That would be so funny. But yeah, it was just my brain like not focusing on that Rosie got the team, but then it's like, well, who's his team? I like how my brain works, like focusing on the super unnecessary stuff. But yay, Rosie got a promotion. That's what I liked.
Unless they like maybe split Aaron's like team members to like different other teams, like consolidated them down into other teams. That'd be the only thing I could think of.
I don't
But
think
then it
that would make sense to split them because I feel like each team is different work.
Splitting up wouldn't make sense then to ask Catalina if she could give one of her teams up to the other team because they're missing one.
Yeah, it's more likely that he was still in charge of his team and in charge of the other 3 teams.
Or they had a new team leader but didn't mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been something just as simple as like it wasn't relevant, so it wasn't added in.
I just like how my brain is.
It would be too late to introduce a character. Like we already knew the Spanish guy and Rosie and Catalina, and they didn't mention the other 2 guys. So, well, one was fired, but the other one that was leading the meeting in the beginning.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it was definitely not an important part. But for some reason, my brain went that way and didn't let go.
Yeah.
I just found that the ending wrapped up too quickly while the beginning dragged on.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It felt kind of really weird, like proportion-wise, it felt very unbalanced.
Yeah, but in the same time,
it went slow, and then after the wedding, everything went very quickly, and then the 1 year time jump. I did like the ending, but it kind of fell short with skipping a whole year and having that part very short compared to the beginning. And then even the wedding was very short. So the beginning was very long, and then there was a bit wedding, and some after wedding, and then done.
Yeah, like I agree with that, but in the same time, I feel like it is a debut novel, so we shouldn't be too harsh because it's the first book that it's published, and it's for sure her books will get better with time.
I mean, mine are not going to be any better balanced wise, but so I can't really compare because like my books aren't even done. I'm like still on chapter 2.
You've only made it to chapter 2.
My brain is hurting, or is it Sam's brain?
After like 2 years, still on chapter 2.
So, what books would you recommend that are quite similar for people, like if they've read it or if they want to read similar books to it? Would you recommend?
I haven't really read a lot of romance. So
I would say the Hating Game. I like the Hating Game a lot more than this.
I have a book that I finished today that it has office romance and hate to lovers, but the hate part is actually hate to lovers. But it was 2 stars again, but it annoyed me more than this book. Like I like the book in general, but the book is love, hate, and clickbait, and it's more like
okay.
It's kind of like red, white, and royal blue, but it's just really political, and the characters in the beginnings are written unlikable. I think for sure they're unlikable, and then there's character development, and it's more stark hate to lovers for sure than this.
Not you comparing it to red, white, and royal blue, and I'm already good reading it.
It's like it's not as good as red, white, and royal blue, but I'm comparing it to the Spanish Love Deception.
Yeah, but you're comparing it to the Spanish Love Deception, which I liked, and red, white, and royal blue, which I love, and I'm like, well, I might like it then.
Has anybody read any like Spanish contemporaries? Any Spanish like contemporaries? Maybe I haven't really read many. I think this is my only one.
I'm looking at my shelves. I can't even find any adult contemporary. So not even any adult books. I feel like.
Yeah, so. I have like no idea what I'd compare.
Let me look at my list. Maybe I have something.
I mean, I know there's loads of like Latina contemporary or chick books out there, but I just don't.
Most of my stuff is like fantasy and other stuff, so I can check, but I don't think I will find anything.
Yeah, really the only book that comes to mind is The Hating Game for me. That's what, like, the vibe that I got, like, when I first started it. And when it she made it seem like both of the characters hated each other. It just reminded me of the hating game.
Lucinda said, I'm sure I've said the Kings of Miskatonic Prep by Stephanie Holmes is a proper bully reverse harem academy paranormal romance. Rosie also recommends picture books. Oh yes, the Elizabeth Acevedo book.
Which I probably also haven't read.
I've only read the Poet X, but there is a book that's I think kind of.
Clap When You Land on the. It was like with the
Another one.
fire
I think it was the
on or
third
something like
one.
that.
The only adult book I've read so far is If the Shoe Fits, and I wouldn't really call that.
Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo is free on Kindle today, apparently.
I have
with Fire and High, that's the one.
Kind of enemies to lovers. Like, you can tell I love office romance, but it's
with
not
the Fire
Spanish.
and High is 99p Kindle. So maybe Elizabeth Acevedo's on a deal.
Billy
That's
and
probably
me
just in UK.
Billy and me
I don't know if
is
it's
a little bit into that.
worldwide.
Not really hate to lovers, but like not knowing like strangers to lovers. I feel like is what Billy and Me by Giovanna Fletcher would kind of fit into. I love strangers to lovers, the new trope.
I have The Billionaire's Wake Up Call Girl. It's really smooth book. It's probably 50% smut, but it's, I don't know, I like it. It was nice.
Just literally smiled right. You're literally
I'm glad I'm not the only one who noticed that.
50% was smart and literally hope enough went.
Oh my what?
It was again 4-star. But the whole thing
Rosie
is that,
says, what about love to hate? No, that's a story about you and me, Rosie. Haha. I'll wait for that response.
If anyone needs office romance, I'm there for recommendations.
Well, yeah, recommend some office romances that because Sam's read an office romance, Hating Game.
Yeah, I recommend it too, but yeah, I have a lot of comics, but they're ongoing. But yeah, I just love that trope.
One of my favorite tropes is books that are based in schools. I just love schools.
I can.
It's based in school.
I definitely want to read more of Dark Academia because I actually really like the Dark Academia styling and aesthetic, which
I'm
is
not sure what that is.
Truly devious.
What makes something Dark Academia?
It's very academical focused. It has like hints of vintage
Nighttime
academia stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like
the aesthetic,
Is it like hidden
are they
secrets
graphic or
and
something? What makes them dark and versus light academia?
it's kind of almost like magic and hidden and secrets and.
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
it's not necessarily graphic.
Or you can take it literally like me and just read a book setting a school setting at night.
I think something that fits into both like Dark Academia and Dark Academia is like classical music, classical books and stuff, very focused on that. And then whether it's dark or light is kind of more like the way you express yourself, whether you kind of prefer to be wearing darker clothes or lighter clothes. I feel like.
Okay, so it's not that there's like murder in Dark Academia necessarily.
I'm not fully sure. So I think it's like the dark and light is kind of more how you personally express yourself.
Like what do they call it? Like secret
like
secret groups. Like what do they call that?
Secret societies?
Yeah, like that.
Oh,
yeah,
like
secret society in schools.
Yeah, so Dark Academia books would kind of be like Truly Devious. I would not call Truly Devious Light Academia, looking at how it's about murder and stuff.
Yeah, they describe the Atlas.
I want to read that one, but I don't want to read the Liebert Bugus one. Something.
Oh, I love Nine House though.
Yeah,
I know that's really graphic.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I feel vengeful of vicious. I think kind of
like the Heartstopper cult.
Harry Potter most times is also
Shadow Spell Academy.
Dark Academia area. I think.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
probably a lot of like indie fantasy that
Yeah,
kind of
and
go
know
into
the
dark
aesthetic, but
academia.
just wasn't sure books how, like, if it's more like bloody or just mysterious. Like, yeah, okay, makes
Yeah, I think
sense.
in the sort of mysterious sense of like
I think-
hidden secrets.
Yeah, I think
in
it's
school.
mostly what kind of stuff is part of the book. If it's just a school, it wouldn't really be academia. So just like Heartstopper, for example, taking fully place in a high school, let's say, wouldn't really be academia because it's taking place in a school doesn't mean it's actually focused on the school aspect.
Yeah.
And still be very personal. Truly Devious, for example, yes, takes place in a school, but it's still very much about the school, which makes it dark academia. And Harry Potter as well. They go to school and it's still very much school focused. It's not like they go to school, but the school doesn't matter and they just do whatever they want to, talk whatever they want to. And their issues are outside of school.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Of course. I don't fully trust me on the whole
Yeah,
dark
at least it's some kind of I thought. Yeah, I thought what makes it dark was just murders in the school. Like when I think about dark academia, yeah, it's Liberdugu Ninth House because I know it's really dark and
I think it's more on themes that are part of the book. I think it's about the
It
themes.
says here, Dark Academia. It suggests it's a book which features an academic setting like a college or a boarding school that features some kind of dark twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dark doesn't mean like. Yeah. Okay.
The book
it's not
cover doesn't
necessarily
nobody has to lie.
Like it can have things like writing, poetry, the arts, classic Greek, Gothic architecture as well.
Yeah.
Something people love, like at least something that is part of the dark academia aesthetic is like Dead Poet Society and stuff. Because they go to a school setting and it does matter and they talk about like some gruesome stuff. And it's more about what themes are part of the book to count it into dark academia. And people that follow that aesthetic also try to not take part of the consumerism and try to get stuff secondhand and try to be a bit more friendly to stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry that we helped you to sleep. But
that's
we
were just talking about book recommendations, though. So
for dark academia,
because we were like
we
at
went
the end
way
of
off
the discussion.
topic.
I love
we're at the end of the discussion anyway.
And I love how it started with Office Romans recommendations, and now we're with dark academia recommendations.
Yeah, I don't know how it got to that, but then again,
when
recommendations
has
are still
any
good.
of these lives ended off with an actual like we're gonna wrap up and then have these discussions off?
Yeah, it's like tangent to tangent to tangent, but hey, recommendations are good.
Yeah,
because
yeah, especially like now I finished a book today, and I mean like I've been reading finished 3 books in like 4 days, 5 days, something like that, almost a book a day. And it's kind of like I need another book to start.
I'm 5 books behind my schedule. I'm off track. My reading's been really bad lately. That's why I decided to just start The Giver and try and see if maybe that can give me back because it's a reread.
Yeah. Well, I hear quite a lot of people are slumping this year, especially like when they're just coming out of reading slumps. Like
it doesn't help that last year I read extremely much. I think a lot of books. I think I read 70 books or something along the line, and right now I'm at 14.
Yeah, I think last year I was really
like numbers when it comes to books because it's just making me anxious and just I don't like that. I just want to read for fun. And now that I'm I'm getting anxious about having a lot of books on my currently reading. So I just need to finish books and then start reading like maybe 2 books max and finish a book and start another. Not starting books.
Yeah, I got a crazy currently reading pile that I've put down and I've added every month and it's driving me mad because I've got about 20 books on it now and it just frustrates me.
I'm trying to figure out just trying to motivate myself to reading and stop focusing on how much I'm reading and just that I'm liking what I'm reading. I'm still rating the books, but right now I notice I probably won't make my goal for the year, and I don't want to force myself into getting the goal. I did pick up a lot of mangas from a friend of mine, so I can just read them through.
Yeah.
Meaning I can actually get those 5 books on track just by reading the mangas I picked up from a friend of mine. But I do actually want to pick up something that I'm in the mood for at the moment. And I was taking a bath, and I didn't want to take my Edgy LaRue copy into there because I have the special edition from Amazon, with the white cover and stuff. And so I just decided to pick up this book because it's a reread, and I hope, because last time I read it was like in high school, we read it in German, and it took me very little time, and I kind of hope that maybe rereading something that I read in high school, and that didn't take me a lot of time in high school, maybe that would help me getting back on track.
Yeah, whenever I'm slumping, rereads is what I tend to go to as well, and I find they do help.
I'm struggling. Like, this is my current physical TBR. This is collection, the yellow thing. It's a collection of Sherlock Holmes stories, so I'm not finishing it right away. I need to finish the story that I'm reading, but that's another topic. But like, I have a reread that I still haven't finished. I have 90 pages, but I'm just procrastinating finishing it because I know what I'm gonna cry. I'm just not in the mood for angst. And I have Harry Potter that I was finishing, that I was reading, and I was just like, but I stopped reading it for a bit because I've been focusing myself on audiobooks, and for the 3 audiobooks that I finished this month, literally in May, 3 books for like 6 days, 7 days. You can tell.
But hey, it's reading though. You're reading stuff that you want to listen to.
I had 1 book read until May, 1 book finished, and now I'm 4 of 25 books. So it's yes. And I have the Book of Life that I loved the first 2 books, especially the second, which is surprising because it has, spoiler alert, it has time travel. I don't like time travel, but I'm just procrastinating reading it because it's long. And I just, I'm much more better with audiobooks. That's why I've read 3, because I can finish them fast and I don't have to procrastinate.
If I'm feeling really tired, audiobooks is the way to go, especially in the evening after work, a long, hard day, and I want to kind of read, but like I really can't hack a book, then I'll just put the audiobook on.
Yeah. For me, it's more like go with picture books. Yeah, I read a lot of comics. I'm paying like 4 or 5 euros a month for a site where I can just have a unlimited access to all the comics they have. I read a lot of comics, which makes sense. I want to make comics in the future, but in the same time, I'm like, I have a lot of physical books, and like I just need to finish them because I just get in the mood to read, then I read. But then there's a long time that I don't read. And if I have an audiobook, I will finish, I will read a lot. But if I don't have an audiobook and I'm only with physical books, then I won't read a lot. Like last year, like in 2019, I read 45 books for the year, which is a lot for me. And it was just because I listened to so much audiobooks. And I have Webtoon. I'm using another website which has like more... I don't know how to.
There are loads of websites you can read like manga and stuff online. Like
I know the site. That's not a problem. But like, it's just
This is my physical currently reading part. This is the books that I'm currently reading.
Oh no, I didn't know.
And then we have no physical books.
That is one book I could not get into.
And then I have, on this, I also have the 3rd in the Shannon Messenger Keeper of the Lost City series, which is like 700 pages. I haven't read in ages. And then I just started my next book on my phone, which is a Dark and Hollow Story. I am fine with not having read that many books this year because I finally finished Priory of the Orange Tree.
I bought it recently. I bought it recently. I'm excited. Oh yeah.
Pretty soon here, you're gonna see me crawling underneath
to
my desk.
put down books
Time
I'm
for a
not
nap.
constantly reading. Like, I couldn't finish the first month book. What was the name? By Tahara Mafi. Shatter Me. I couldn't finish it, and I still haven't finished it, so I just put it down. And like with the knife of keep holding on or something like that.
No, knife and never letting go.
Put it down. So
Yeah,
I
that's
just
what
need
I've
to
put
get
down
it.
as well.
Like, I don't want to. Like, I guess I did DNF them, but I just didn't finish them. I want to finish them someday. I will
Yeah.
give them another try for sure. But it was just stop reading them. It's not because I didn't like it. Well, with the knife of never letting go, I wasn't the biggest fan, to be honest. But like with Shatter Me, I was still like, it was okay. But like I just wasn't feeling in the mood or something.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
Just big constant struggle for me with reading.
Yeah. Like, the reason I have such a big currently reading pile is because I've started it during the month, and then when the new month starts and I haven't finished it, I'm like, well, I can't fit it on the TBR because that means adding another book to the TBR. Back in the day, I never used to have an actual planned TPR. I just used to put the books forward for what I carried and carry them forward. But these days, TBR games and
So
review books and stuff.
I'm 4% into Everblaze, and it's like 621 pages. It's a middle grade.
But hopefully it reads quick.
Yeah, I mean, I finished the first 2 this year.
The knife was amazing. Okay.
The thing with the knife is because it was on YouTube audiobook, I just had the tab open, but I just didn't open the tab, so I didn't read it. I was like,
I'm pretty sure it's on script now, isn't it? I can't remember.
I don't know. I
didn't have a subscription then, so it was like just having it on YouTube. Found a free audiobook and was listening to that, and I was like, it just didn't open the tab. But
Let me double
I think it's on a Storytel. I just need to finish it, but yeah.
It's not on script, at least not on mine. I did do the YouTube one though. I did speed it up because it felt extremely slow.
Yeah, I speed it up. I had sped it up, but I just didn't finish it because I wasn't opening the tab. I know in Storytel it was in Bulgarian, but I don't want to read it in Bulgarian because like, my first ever audiobook was The Red Queen, and I started listening to it, then I stopped, and then I read the books in Bulgarian, and I don't like the books now, probably because of the translation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Thing is, like this month I wanted to focus on review books, so I kind of put most things down to read review books.
I stopped doing a TBR this year. I'm just going to read whatever I'm in the mood for. I did do like the Google Sheets until last month, but I noticed that I hardly updated them, so I'm just going to just pick up and read. I'm happy.
The book is in Bulgarian, but I already started in English. I just need to finish it on YouTube, or just start it.
I know I'm so close to finishing it, but I just didn't want to put it on the TBR because then it would mean adding like another book, which then would make 6 books on the TBR. Whereas I'm happy 5 makes me feel a bit better, like because then it's 3 review books, the late night bookworm book club book, and then the top book list to read this year.
I don't
so
like.
I was like 5 is fine.
Like, I've tried making myself TBRs. I don't usually finish them. I'm more of a mood reader, so it's kind of like just making myself anxious and putting myself like feeling bad if I cannot finish anything, or it's just really.
Yeah, I've got a TBR, and yet, obviously, with Heartstopper, I want to read all of Alice Oseman's other books, but the restraint that I'm having is like, no, you must.
And then there's me that is literally probably going to listen to this winter tonight.
I luckily managed to, because it was such a quick read. It was only 102 pages. Like, it was, yeah, I read it in an actual evening. It was
The
quite great.
audiobook is an hour long.
Yeah, it's really, it really isn't that long. And on times 2 speed, it's done within half an hour.
Okay, I have a question. For the TV show with Heartstopper, can I watch it even though I haven't read the whole series?
You
But I
only
was-
need the first
Only the
2
first
volumes.
two
It's like the
chapters.
first 2 volumes.
The
Yeah.
two-
Okay, I did read the first 2 volumes. That's why I was
You're
wondering
good.
if I can watch
Yeah,
it.
and I've read the first two, and I can watch the show, but I stopped reading it because I wasn't using Tapas. I just didn't use Tapas, so I stopped reading it on chapter 5, which is the 4th volume, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like I have 5th, 6th, and 7th to catch up, and I just need to binge read it because I just usually binge read. That's
Literally
They're such
yesterday.
quick reads too.
Tapas,
Like,
and I don't use
Literally
it.
yesterday, I read all of the books and watched the whole show.
The thing is, the books are expensive, and
Yeah,
they are
that's why you can read it online for free.
and I can't read on the phone and on the laptop. I don't like reading it because of the clear and stuff. I prefer it on the Kindle where I don't have the online option to just read on a website. So I do want to have them on as physical copies, but I have to save up for them because graphic novels are outrageously expensive, especially here in Germany. Because there is not a fixed price on graphic novels and English books. In Germany, there's a fixed price on German language books, so they can't be over that price. But those fixed prices aren't on other books. So, like as soon as the book is in English, they can make it more expensive.
yeah, they're £9.34 on Amazon.
Like I think I've seen usually the comics I've seen are around like some are €11, some are more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're roughly
This
about
is not that
yeah.
expensive for a comic. Like if I'm looking at it only from Euro, like I bought the first comic of Heartstopper, the first book. It was 22 Bulgarian lev, which is €11.
Yeah, I couldn't even. I'm looking. I couldn't even find. Like I'm on Amazon right now, and it says that it's the not the hardcover but the paperback. It's not even available. I would have to pick up from someone else. It would be
You can look at Book Depository. I feel like it's better.
yeah, but even there it's outrageously expensive. It's $14.50, the cheapest. And I could get it for the Kindle for €7, but I don't want it as a Kindle.
Oh my god! No, the 3rd volume on Book Depository is €11 right now.
Yeah.
And
And it's like
14 for some. I don't know why it's 14 again. The 3rd volume, 13 for the first, but it's just Heartstopper. It doesn't. I think it's
The
so
third
loud.
volume on Book Depository for me is $34.
What the hell?
Why?
What about eBay?
we are not. I live in Germany.
Wait, there's another short story about Nick
It's hard to
and
be not buying that right now. I will check back in a few days
What
and
the
see if
hell
the
is
price
this?
will lower.
This is a book?
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
there's a Nick and Charlie book, but
Yeah,
I guess
it's a little Christmassy novella that's about like
Oh,
Nick and his family at Christmas and Charlie and his family at Christmas, and then they somehow meet, and it's cute.
okay.
Not-
I don't pay attention to what is released. So.
It's a little cute Christmassy novella about Nick and Charlie.
I want
at
to buy
Christmas.
all of Alice Oseman's books,
Yeah.
but my bank accounts
I
are
want
like,
to read them all.
I want to own them all and then read them. So, but my brain is like, my bank account can't afford that, so we will read what is available on Scribd, and then throughout the next like few months, buy them all.
I hear really good things about Loveless. Like,
I want to read it because it's
I'm like-
Ace representation. I want to read it. I hate
I
that.
want to buy all
Alice
the
Oseman
war
has
comics.
out herself
Good,
after.
but
I think they describe Isaac as Ace. I think in the
That
That's the point.
Alice has confirmed that that's kind of what she's going for with his character.
Yeah, because he doesn't seem like he is like interested
He's
in
just
it.
kind of there, just
Yeah. He literally just seems like he is ace. Like I get that vibe from him that he's ace.
The thing is, the thing that I hate is that I think Alice Oseman was kind of pushed into outing herself because people were like, why is she writing about queer characters and non-queer person, and that's not okay and that's not right, and then she had to out herself. She was kind of forced into outing herself, which is super problematic.
Wait, when? What? I know they're using she, they, but that's all I know.
I don't think she ever actually said what she identifies as, but she definitely says that she is queer. And I think she is.
Yeah, I wonder what she is.
I think this is Own Voices.
Maybe bisexual? I don't know. Right.
I think she's ace, actually. I think it's Own Voices, but I think that she was forced into doing it. That's what I do like, that we have Own Voices options, and that people are like, we should read Own Voices first, but there's people that aren't able to out themselves.
I'm just sitting here being quiet because I could go on for hours.
Are you surprised? Hearthstone is amazing though. Like, you can't deny it.
I'll be restarting it again tonight.
I started my 5th run around.
This will be my
I was trying not
7th.
to, but I couldn't help it. You know when you've had a bad day?
I literally my day yesterday.
I have to go now, though.
That's okay. I was literally going to wrap it up anyway and just talk about what our next book is going to be, when the live's going to be, and whose channel it's going to be on anyway. So, for the month of... It's actually quite dark. I should put a light on. But, like, for the month of May, we are reading Crave by Tracy Wolff, which is a vampire series. It's apparently compared to Twilight. And I hear really good things about it, though.
An audiobook.
So, it is on Scribd.
It is on Storytel too, if someone uses that.
I have it in my library, so
yeah, the whole of May, just give it a read. The live shows are always on the first Saturday of the next month, so it gives you plenty of time to read it. And according to my calendar, it is the 4th of June. Same time as always, 7 p.m. BST, 2 p.m. PST. I don't know what it is. I think in Australian time, I feel like they're 1 hour. It's like a day ahead, but 1 hour behind or something like that. So that I think they're like 6 a.m. the next day. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. Want to know it's the morning. But yeah, join us same time as always to discuss Crave. Other than that, thank you to all of the lovely co-hosts that were able to join today to discuss this. I was sitting there like halfway through and I was like, I love book clubs. Like I had that gushy feeling of like, I do love book clubs and talking about books. yeah, it's been fun. And I hope for those of you that just hadn't read the book but enjoyed the discussions of books and recommendations and book chat afterwards. Yeah.
And I hope that everyone will like Crave.
Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for being my voice, Rosie.
Thank you for being in my brain.
It was awfully quiet.
Now, please accept my head. My head feels like it's about to explode. So,
and you have a kitty in the background. I think it's Cat O'Clock because Nutmeg just started meowing as well.
Bravo.
She's like, meow, food. Enough discussing the book. Give me my food. But yes, thank you for joining, Rosie. I know you hadn't read the book, but it is actually really nice for you to join. Thank you, Lucinda, as well. And Joe for joining, even though you got COVID. And Morgan joined for a bit as well. But yeah, and if you're watching it afterwards, yes. Can you not hear Nutmeg? Like, meow.
She's saying her final opinions about the book.
Bravo wanted to say
and
hi.
Nutmeg, what is your opinion?
Oh my god, someone activated my Google Assistant.
Bravo. Here.
But yes, I will end it here because I literally am nearly out of my hours. And if I do want to do reading sprints Monday, I need to have some time before my limit runs out. So yes, thank you to everyone and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.